Ladies and gentlemen, my friends, my warriors, my believers in something greater than themselves, let me ask you something very simple. Have you ever felt tired for no reason? Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, working hard, being kind, showing up, yet something keeps pulling you down? If you are under spiritual attack, let me tell you something that might surprise you. It means you are valuable. Yes, that's right. The very fact that you are being targeted, challenged, shaken in the soul, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of worth **. Let me explain it to you like this. No one breaks into an empty house. Thieves go after treasure. The enemy does not waste his time on someone who has no future, no purpose, no light. The more pressure you feel, the more proof you have that your spirit carries weight, meaning, and a mission far beyond what you can currently see. When I started out in business, everyone laughed at me. I failed exams, was rejected from jobs, and told I was foolish to believe in my dreams. But those attacks didn't happen because I was weak. They happened because something inside me, a fire, a calling, a vision, made others uncomfortable. It's the same with spiritual attacks. The enemy doesn't fear your present. He fears your potential. He sees where you're going, what you're building, the light you're carrying, and that's why he strikes. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're doing something right. And in those moments when everything feels dark, when your energy is low, when nothing makes sense, you must remember this. Pressure builds purpose. God uses these attacks to reveal who you are. You're not just a name, you're a threat to darkness, you're a light in someone's life, you're a voice that can shift atmospheres, you are a soul with influence. That's why the enemy is after you, and once you understand this, you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start declaring, I know who I am, and I'm not backing down. The people I admire the most in life, in history, in faith, they all went through storms. They all faced invisible attacks, spiritual warfare, depression, temptation, betrayal. But do you know what they had in common? They didn't give up. They didn't let the attacks define them. They used the pressure as fuel. They rose above the lies. They went deeper in prayer. And every time they were knocked down, they stood back up with more wisdom, more fire, and more strength. You must do the same. You must understand that being attacked does not make you broken. It makes you battle. Hasted **. Sometimes the people around you won't understand what you're going through. That's okay. Spiritual battles are often invisible to others, but very real to you. But let me remind you of something powerful. Your soul is not alone. You are not fighting unarmed. You have the greatest weapon of all, divine connection. And when you open your mouth and say, God, protect me, guide me, fight for me, heaven responds, light breaks through. Chains start falling, and slowly the darkness retreats. This keynote is a reminder for every person out there who is hurting silently. If you're under spiritual attack, don't hide in shame, rise in awareness. This is not the end of you. It's the shaping of you. You are valuable. You are chosen, and no attack can erase your calling. You were born for impact. You were born with spiritual power, and no darkness can dim the light inside you unless you let it. So don't stand, pray, breathe, fight, because when the dust settles, it won't be the attack that wins. It will be your unbreakable soul. Life has a rhythm, a pattern, and one of the most painful yet powerful truths is this. Right before your greatest breakthrough, the battle becomes the hardest. When you're about to step into your next level spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, that's when the attacks hit hardest. Not because you're weak, but because you're close. The pressure intensifies not to destroy you, but to stop you from stepping into what's already been prepared for you. You are under spiritual attack because there's a *** door about to open ***, and darkness always tries to block it. Imagine a plane just before it takes off. The moment it begins its ascent, it faces the strongest wind resistance. That's not a sign to abort the flight, it's a sign to push harder, to rise higher. Similarly, in your spiritual journey, resistance is confirmation. That restlessness you're feeling, that sudden wave of doubt, fear, confusion, or temptation. It's not random. It's a signal that something on the other side of this struggle is worth fighting for. Every step you take forward irritates the forces that want to keep you in place. That's why the pressure increases. That's why people suddenly turn against you, why unexpected losses happen, why your faith feels shaken. The enemy is trying to distract you from your destiny, but here is where most people get it wrong. They give up too soon. They start thinking maybe this isn't meant to be, maybe I'm not strong enough, maybe I've made too many mistakes, and in doing so, they walk away from the miracle that was just one prayer, one push, one act of courage away. Don't be that person. Don't let the storm outside fool you into forgetting the peace within. When everything around you is falling apart, that's your cue to stand up, not shut down. That's your time to go deeper in prayer, stronger in spirit, and louder in faith. The spiritual realm works differently than the physical one. What looks like chaos on the outside is often construction on the inside. What feels like a setback is often setup. The attack is not the end, it's the announcement. It means the heavens are shifting. It means your name has been marked for elevation. That's why the attack came, not because you're cursed, but because you're called. And in that moment, when you feel weakest, prayer becomes your superpower. You don't need to shout. You don't need to have the perfect words. You just need to believe. Say, God, I know something big is coming. I know you're preparing me. I trust you even when I don't understand you. Strengthen me, protect me, carry me through this storm. That simple, honest prayer shifts the atmosphere. It silences fear. It invites divine strategy. It realigns your spirit with your purpose. Many people try to fight spiritual battles with physical strength through logic, arguments, or distractions. But that's like bringing a knife to a fire. It's not enough. You need spiritual awareness. You need to understand that behind every major moment in your life, there's a battle in the unseen. And if you can hold on not perfectly, but persistently, you'll come out of this stronger, wiser, and more grounded than ever before. So when you feel attacked, don't panic, asterisk, asterisk, prepare, asterisk, asterisk. The breakthrough is near. The blessing is close. The storm may rage, but the victory belongs to the one who refuses to quit. Keep your faith, keep your fire, you're almost there. When most people hear the word prayer, they think of something quiet, soft, or passive, something done only in moments of peace, or maybe even weakness. But that's not the truth. Prayer is not weakness. Prayer is not last resort. Prayer is asterisk, asterisk, power in action, asterisk, asterisk. It is the fiercest, most powerful weapon you have when you are under spiritual attack. You may not see what's coming against you, but when you pray, you release a force that shakes things in the unseen realm. You open a channel between your spirit and heaven, and in that moment, you are not alone. You are backed by something far greater than yourself. When I was starting out in my life and career, there were moments I felt completely overwhelmed. I didn't have support, money, or connections. I had setbacks after setbacks. Rejections became part of my daily routine. It looked like nothing was working, but deep down I learned a secret. I stopped relying only on strategy. I started praying for strength. I started asking for peace. I stopped talking to the world and began speaking directly to the one who created the world. And slowly everything shifted. Not because the world changed, but because asterisk, asterisk, I changed asterisk, asterisk. Prayer realigned me with my purpose. It gave me clarity in confusion, calmness in chaos, and boldness in brokenness. You have to understand that when you're under a spiritual attack, you're not just dealing with external circumstances. You're dealing with internal battles, voices in your head, doubts in your heart, and this is where prayer becomes essential. It's not about saying fancy words. It's about speaking from the rawest part of your soul. It's about opening up, saying, God, I can't fight this alone. Come and fight with me. Show me how to win a battle I can't see. That is the moment power is activated. People underestimate the simplicity of a powerful prayer. It doesn't have to be loud, it just has to be real. You could be driving, walking, sitting alone in the dark, tears falling down your face, and say one sentence, "Help me, I can't do this without you." That sentence can stop the storm. That cry from the heart can move angels. That whisper can bring back your strength, because prayer isn't about performance. It's about presence. It's about showing up honestly, broken if needed, and still choosing to speak life when everything inside you is dying. The greatest battles of your life will not be won by force, they will be won on your knees, not in weakness, but in wisdom. Because when you pray, you gain insight the world can't give you. You start to see things from a higher view. You stop reacting and you start responding. And that's the difference between people who fall during a spiritual attack and those who rise. The ones who pray win. So never let anyone make you feel that prayer is a waste of time. It is the most productive thing you can do in a moment of darkness. It is not your last option, it is your first line of defense. In a world that tries to solve everything with logic and noise, prayer connects you to something deeper, something eternal, something that doesn't shake when the world does. If you are under spiritual attack right now, stop looking around in panic. Start looking up in prayer. The battle is real, but so is the victory. And every time you pray, you step closer to it. In life, one of the greatest lies we're told during a spiritual attack is that fear is stronger than us. It whispers that you are not enough, that you'll fail, that there's no way out. But fear is a liar, and the truth is simple. Asterisk asterisk, your faith is more dangerous than your fear asterisk asterisk. Fear wants to freeze you, paralyze you, keep you stuck where you are. But faith moves mountains. Faith shifts realities. Faith invites power into your life that fear can never replicate. And when you are under spiritual attack, that is the exact moment when you must choose to activate faith, not sink into fear. Let me share this with you. Every time I faced a major challenge in my life, fear was the first voice I heard. When I failed my entrance exams, fear told me I wasn't smart enough. When I was rejected from 30 different jobs, fear told me I was unworthy. When people mocked my ideas and laughed at my vision, fear told me to quit. But somewhere in the middle of that darkness, faith whispered. It didn't shout, it didn't force, but it whispered, and that whisper was louder than fear. Faith said, "Get up." Faith said, "Keep trying." Faith said, "There's more waiting for you on the other side of this battle." In spiritual warfare, the enemy wants to intimidate you. He wants to make you believe that the attack is too strong, that you are too weak, that your mistakes have disqualified you. But fear only wins when you agree with it, and you are not created to agree with fear. You were created to walk in faith. That doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means you don't let fear control your decisions. You move forward even when your knees are shaking. You pray even when you don't feel strong. You believe even when everything around you is crumbling. This is the power of faith. It's not the absence of fear, it's the refusal to let fear be louder. Faith says, "I still believe." Faith says, "I don't understand, but I trust." Faith says, "I don't see the outcome, but I know the one who does." When you start praying in faith, not panic, everything changes, because fear brings confusion, but faith brings clarity. Fear paralyzes, but faith empowers. And most of all, fear is temporary, but faith leaves a permanent mark on your life. Faith does not always make sense to the world. People might look at you and say, "How can you still believe after everything you've lost?" But they don't know the strength of your spirit. They don't know the depth of your connection to something greater. They don't know the conversations you've had with God in the midnight hours. What they see as foolishness, heaven sees as boldness. And every time you choose faith in the middle of your storm, you become a living example of resilience, hope, and divine strength. So if you're under attack right now, if the fear is screaming and the shadows are heavy, don't run. Don't surrender, stand firm. Even if it's with trembling hands and a broken voice, say, "God, I trust you. I don't know what's happening, but I believe you're with me. I will not bow to fear." That simple act of courage sets things in motion. And once faith is activated, no darkness can stay, no lie can hold you, no fear can stop you, because the moment you choose faith, Asterisk asterisk, you become dangerous to every force that wants to see you fall. Asterisk asterisk, and the enemy knows it. That's why he attacks, but you know better, you know the truth. Asterisk asterisk, you win by faith, always. Asterisk asterisk, there are times in life when everything around you feels quiet. The storm is raging inside your mind, your heart is heavy, and your spirit feels weak. You look around for help, for signs, for guidance, and you see nothing. You pray and it feels like no one is listening. You cry out and there's only silence. In those moments, the greatest lie you will ever hear is this: you are alone, but you are not. Even when you don't feel it, asterisk asterisk, you are protected. Asterisk asterisk. Even when your emotions scream abandonment, God has already surrounded you with spiritual defense. Being under spiritual attack doesn't mean God has turned away. It means He's building you, training you, preparing you for something greater. The silence is not punishment, it's process, and often His protection doesn't look like prevention. Sometimes He doesn't stop the storm, He strengthens you through it. Sometimes He allows the fire not to burn you, but to refine you. That's when you must remember that faith isn't about feelings. It's about trusting in the invisible hand that holds your life steady, even when everything looks unstable. When I look back at the hardest seasons of my life, I realize now that I wasn't abandoned. In fact, those were the moments I was most covered in grace even when I didn't see it, covered in mercy even when I didn't deserve it, covered in wisdom even when I didn't understand it. I was protected from things that could have destroyed me. Battles were being fought that I didn't even know existed. And you, too, are experiencing this same invisible shield right now, whether you feel it or not. We often measure protection by how easy our lives are, but true protection is spiritual. It means even though the weapon is formed, it doesn't prosper. It means even though people rise against you, they fall before they reach you. It means that the attack might touch your circumstances, but never your soul. That is divine protection, not the absence of battle, but the assurance of victory. When you pray during a spiritual attack, you are not begging for protection. You are activating what is already present. You are acknowledging the shield that already surrounds you. You are inviting heaven to stand fully visible in your situation. And when you pray with that kind of faith, not desperation, but trust, you begin to walk differently. You no longer move like someone defeated. You walk like someone covered. You speak like someone backed by the Most High. You face your problems not with fear, but with spiritual authority. You must understand something very important. Just because you can't see God working doesn't mean He isn't. His power is not always loud. It's often quiet, like the stillness before sunrise, like the calm before the breakthrough. In the silence, He is building. In the stillness, He is watching. And in the background, He is orchestrating your deliverance, your healing, your restoration. So when you're under attack, don't be fooled by what your eyes see. Trust what your spirit knows, that you are not alone, that you are not forgotten, that the enemy may be loud, but your protection is louder. You are surrounded, you are shielded, and even if you don't feel it, asterisk asterisk, you are protected, chosen, and deeply loved, asterisk asterisk. This is not the end. This is not your fall. This is your rise happening in silence. And soon, what's been protecting you in private will lift you up in public. Don't stop. Don't fear. Just keep walking, because victory is walking beside you every step of the way.